Alright guys, what's up? It's Mr. Lynch coming back at you with another great math video. Today, we're going to go over the review that we were doing in class today. Now, I'm going to go a little more in depth, I'm going to take a little more time. We're going to nail this down, nail some equations, and you guys are going to be ready for the test tomorrow. Now, when I'm asking you guys, is this a true right triangle? Don't pay attention to what we show. Alright, what just happened? So, no, that's not what I want to do. Stop. I'm going to white out these angle signs. Alright, don't pay attention to those. That's not what we're looking at. We don't care. What we want to know is, do the sides follow a squared plus b squared equals c squared? That's all we want to know. If they follow this, then of course it's a right triangle. So all we got to do, plug those sides into Pythagorean Theorem, solve, and we're good to go. I'm going to do number 2 because the number's a little easier and I don't have my calculator handy. So we're going to go 8 squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared. Does it? 8 squared is 64. 6 squared is 36. 10 squared is 100. Now I add 64 to 36 and I get that 100 equals 100. And of course 100 equals 100. That's how we know this is a right triangle. Now finding the length of AB, I'm going to call this B because I know this is my leg. And in order to find my leg, I have to do 24 squared plus B squared equals 30 squared. Now 24 squared is 576 plus b squared equals 900. Now again, we're just using Pythagorean theorem here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now it doesn't matter what's a and b, what really matters is what c is. And when you're given a right triangle, you know c because it's opposite this 90-degree angle, or it's just the biggest side out of all of them. It's one of those two. All right, well, really, you can use either one of those and that'll get you the right answer. But use one of those to be able to find that right answer. So now, I solve this like any other equation. I subtract 576 from both sides to get that b squared equals 324. Take my square root, b is 18. That's my answer. Now, I know we did this in class, and so I'm going to move on down towards these ones about angles. I'm going to take this one slowly because this one's a little challenging in class. So looking at this, okay, we can see that this entire angle right here, so this whole thing is 90 degrees. And we know that that is angle 1 plus angle 2. Okay. Now, let's substitute some things in. Angle 1 is just this 2x minus 3. So we get 2x minus 3 for angle 1. Angle 2 is x plus 3. So we're adding together angle 1 plus angle 2. But the degrees on angle 1 is 2x minus 3, and the degrees on angle 2 is x plus 3. Now I need to combine my like terms, and by combining like terms, I'm going to take my x's and put them together. 2x plus x gets me 3x. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So I get 90 equals 3x. Now in order to get x by itself, I divide both sides by 3 to get that 30 equals x. Now remember, the steps to solving an equation, step 1, distribute. All right, remember, distribution is taking something outside of parentheses and multiplying it by each thing inside. Now, we're not always going to have to do that, but sometimes we will have to do that. Step 2 is to combine like terms. And combining like terms just means I get all my x's together, I get all my y's together, I get all my z's together, I get all my numbers together. We're putting all like things together. Step 3 is to move the variable, and that only happens when I have variables on both sides. So if I were to have 3x plus 2 equals x minus 1, well, I'm going to move this so that it goes over here, and I have x that's only in one spot. Step 4 is to move the constant. And for moving the constant, over here we would get 2x plus 2 equals negative 1. For moving the constant, what we're going to do is we're actually going to move the constant that's on the same side as the variable. So in this case, I need to move this over there. And then lastly, step 5 is to divide. Now, I hope you guys remember these 5 steps from earlier in the year, because I told you you need to have these ingrained for this year and next year. Now, if you guys don't, I guess that's okay. We're just going to need to work on it a little bit before next year. So, luckily on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're taking those 2 days to just work on some equations. Work through these 5 steps. Get these ingrained back in your head. Now, again, these types of angles, these are alternate interior. Now, remember, alternate interior, they're on alternate sides of the transversal. In between, why did that change into that? In between the parallel lines. Remember, we name these to help you guys. All right, we name these so that you know exactly where they are and exactly how they work. So, alternate interior are equal to each other. So I set this 2x minus 10 equal to 65 minus x. And I'm going to go through my steps. Step 1 is to, I'm going to turn off ink to shape. Distribute. All right, I don't have any distribution that I need to do here at all, so we're good to go there. Step 2 is to combine like terms. I don't have any like terms to combine, because remember, we're only doing that on one side or the other. And I've got all my x's together on this side, I've got all my numbers together on this side. Got all my numbers together, I got all my x's together. So these two are done. Step 3 is to move the variable. Now remember, we're moving the lowest variable. All right, we're moving the least. So what's lower? What's a smaller number? 2 or negative 1? Give you guys a couple seconds. Think about that. What is smaller, 2 or negative 1? I want to say it's negative 1. So in order to get rid of this negative x, we add x to both sides. 2x plus x gets me 3x. Bring down this minus 10 because I didn't do anything with it. And I'm left with 65 on the other side. Now, step 4 is to move the constant. So now I'm moving the constant. I move the constant that's on the same side as our variable. So that's this minus 10. To undo minus 10, I add 10. So then I get 3x equals 100. What am I talking about? 100. What? 3x equals 75. Not thinking straight today. Now, step 5. We're finally here. We're on our last step. We need to divide. So I divide both sides by what's attached to the x, and I get x equals 25. Now, I want to look at this real quick, because this is a lot of knowing what goes on with angles and knowing the relationships with angles. So, let's look. We want to know YAZ. Okay, so YAZ. Well, that's easy. They give us a little box right here, so that's 90 degrees. Then they want to know XAZ. Ooh, that's tricky. I'm going to call this X. So this is X degrees. I know this is 90 degrees. and I know that this is 50 degrees. So in order to do this, I know that x plus 90 plus 50 is 180 degrees because xu is a straight line. So x plus 140 is equal to 180. In order to get x by itself, I subtract 140, which means x equals 40. So I come up here. So xaz is 40 degrees. Now wax, I'm going to do almost the same thing. Or we can look and see these are vertical angles. So if this is 50, this has to be 50. And then angle UAW, add these all up. So 50 plus 90 plus 40 plus 50 plus, we're going to call this Y. It's Y degrees. All that added together equals 360. So 50 plus 50 is 100, plus 40 is 140, plus 90 is 230. So 230 plus Y equals 360. Subtract 230, and I get Y equals 130. Why did I just write Y there? No, 130. And I'll let you guys add these all up for that one. But let's take a real quick go back here. There it is. This is what I wanted. Okay, these are the 5 steps. Now I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw another one. All right. Now this whole angle right here is, we'll go with 140 degrees. But we've got this line that goes through it. So this is really made up of 2 angles. This angle is 4x plus 5. This one over here is 6x minus 10. Six x minus 15, sorry. So we know all together that this 4x plus 5 plus this 6x minus 15 has to be equal to this 140 degrees. Because these 2 angles add up to this entire 140. If we add them together, they're going to equal 140. Well, step 1, distribute. Can't really distribute here, so I'm going to skip that step. Combine like my like terms, though. I can combine some like terms here. I've got x's here, I've got x's here. 4x plus 6x is 10x. Now I'm going to combine my numbers. 5 plus negative 15 is negative 10. I'll combine my like terms. I'm good to go. I don't need to move my variable because my variables are all on one side. I do need to move my constant, though. Do you guys see this minus 10 that's right here next to our 10x? What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add 10 to both sides. So I get 10x equals 150. I'm on my last step, divide. I divide both sides by 10 to get x equals 15. So if x equals 15, this is 65 degrees, and this is 85, 75. Alright guys, that's it for this video. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you are ringing that notification bell so you guys can see these videos as soon as they come out. As always guys, we'll see you soon.